that virtualization is important because most computer server, CPUs, RAMs, hard disk is only being used only 10% of it. Like the brain of the human being, we're using only 10%, the rest we're not using. So simply by using virtualization, we're going to increase the efficiency of the computer, which is visual, معناه افتراضي. It is visual. So simply recently everybody knows that DCS, which is digital compact system, simply been used and for automation and system implementation and virtualization. That means see where the people going, where the world going. It's very important to know where we are where the world going. Why? To maximize the resources, utilities of the hard disk, the hardware. Simply we could use only one hardware computer, and you could do 60 virtualized computer by using virtualization. And you could also use it for far distance, like offshore. So this is the trend of technology now. People try to minimize the cost, increase the efficiency, increasing the speed. Where are we from that world? Are we part of it or not? So we have to know how to implement these things, not to only know it. Knowing it is good, but to implement it is the most important. So it is lowering the cost, and when also it is, what is in simple term virtualization? Everybody say we are talking virtualization, we're talking now افتراضية. What is it? Simply we could say it is running multiple operating system, OS, or virtual machine, VM, virtual machine. It is imaginary, visual, in one computer. By how we do it? By adding a layer, this layer between the hardware and the multiple operating system, and this layer is called hypervisor. Hypervisor. We're going to use this word, hypervisor. Of course, the hypervisor has been used with IBM since 1960, but for their own use, for local, not for the offshore, for multiple things. But implemented recently only to benefit from industry is 2014-13. So, for example, hypervisor is server 2016 is not only server, but also VM can be a window, can be server. So you could run more than one operating system. This was the beauty of visual VM or hypervisor. So VM, i.e. visual machine, is an operating system that is not directly accessing the hardware resources to run, but instead virtualized machine running within hypervisor. One of the most important of a hypervisor is called Hyper-V. We're going to talk about it. As I said, VM, a visual machine, could have different offshore system. So simply to utilizing that, i.e. you have one hardware computer, but you have offshore in the sea about 60 computer, and using only in the offshore only screen and keyboard. All the accessories, all the other things, it is offshore one computer. So this is how you cost effective and very important. Also efficiency effective, very important. One of the well-known company, which they are competing with each other for getting the latest technology on that, is Emerson. Also, we have IBV. We have Honeywell. Honeywell also, the Dutch one, the American, all they competing very, very intensively. Maybe somebody said, how they do it? They do it simply because this is the technology of the future, and this is reducing the operator, a human being, they increasing the efficiency and the speed. But however, the hardware of Visual V is which is done by Microsoft, is more expensive than others. They'll also done some sort of computers. There's two types of hypervisor. Type 1 is called native or bare metal hypervisor. Type 2 hosted. Hosted is very limited, i.e. hosting things on the difference between them is, I don't know whether they don't show the screen here, unfortunately, they're not changing. I'm talking, unfortunately, difficult for you to grasp the idea. The idea is you have the operating system, and then you have hypervisor, and then you have the normal operating system, then the hardware. This is for hosted. But for the bare metal, you remove the normal operating system, i.e. hardware, hypervisor, and operating systems. So this is how they do it. So as I say, virtualization using type 1 native power system running directly on the hardware. That's to control the hardware and to manage a guest operating system. Example, modern example, it is Microsoft Hyper-V, as I said, the most important, which is very well known, and VMware, which is done by Dell. Simply, as I said, if you have the system, it's difficult to imagine. If you have the computer server, you have the first slot, which is going to be hosted slot, and the rest would be simply the layer which you put in to be able to, for visualization. So, of course, as I said, the hosted one, which is a little bit slower and cheaper and had limited use, could be small business use, but hypervisor for barefoot or native will be for the enterprises. VM can process through, as I said, process LAN using thin client, a limited number, through secure internet, but usually don't use internet because this is going to be vulnerable for security. Again, I have to mention hypervisor had been developed in 2008, Hyper-V, which is simply available in using Windows, Server OS, pre-download also from Microsoft, but however, you need the assembly language to be able to write the program for the hypervisor. So Hyper-V is a Hyper-V is a hypervisor that allow multiple installed operating systems to share single hardware platform. We don't use no graphical card at all interface, no GUI. Virtualization hardware platform, for example, as I said, Dell platform virtualizing system, which is simply integrated power, we call it VRTX. I used to have a picture, but I can't show you, unfortunately. So as I said, the DC, which you call domain control, the first slot domain control, DC. Which is, then you're going to put in third. Now they're using only CPU, for example, have 2 CPUs. Now could use even more, up to 16 core CPU, which I could more than CPU in one computer. That will maximize the ability to use virtual machines up to 60 VM. I believe one of the things in the technology which everybody maybe need to know, I know Internet of Things, but now everybody is trending to go to IIoT. What mean IIoT? Industrial Internet of Things, which is everybody try to implement. They are competing very heavily on that issue. I wish we could really learn more about it. I wish government could sponsor that sort of really program to be able to catch up with the world. Otherwise, we be only going to know things without implementing. This is going to waste of human resources, wasted of material resources, and wasting of the most important time, which the people going to really far away advanced of us, and that makes us very vulnerable to be controlled in the future. I am very thankful to all of you. I'm very sorry for not to be able to show it in that show, but I hope you have guessed what I tried to say in a short time, because Dr. Hamid had insisted to me not to make it longer. I have, of course, a talk with artificial intelligence. I have talked with IoT. He doesn't want me to do that. So, sorry. Thank you very much indeed. And all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.